What's going on, guys? Chuck here with another awesome Blu-ray purchase. And we're going to keep on with the new Friday the 13th releases from Arrow, taking a look now at Jason X from 2002. This, much like Jason Goes to Hell, snuck up on me. It had been, Jason Goes to Hell was like, 93? I think this is like 2002, so that's like a 9-year gap. That's like definitely the longest gap between Friday films. And I know during this time they were still trying to work out that Freddy versus Jason thing. It didn't, it took forever to come to fruition. And I heard that this was actually released or finished earlier, but didn't release until 2002. But yeah, how I found out about this was I was with my friend Dave's, and I don't know how we came across it, but I saw the trailer online. And that's, I think, the first time I can recall seeing a trailer for the first time online, not in the theater. And I remember thinking, what the hell? First, the fact that, it was in space, it was like, oh, great. We've reached the end. Jason's gone to space. Is officially the end, and I had worries. Of course, in the trailer also had the "Bodies at the Floor" song. I can't remember who that's by. Not my type of music, but I know the song very well. And it gave the trailer a very interesting feel. I think right from that point is when I realized this could be a very fun movie. And I did like the trailer. It was interesting concept. Granted, I was like, oh god, they put him in space. What the hell? But I was intrigued. And of course, it was, it's a Friday the 13th movie or a Jason movie, which at the time I didn't quite understand why it was being called Jason and not, Friday the 13th Part 10. But I think that also really had to do with, the fact New Line, I think, bought the rights to the characters, but Paramount still owned the title Friday the 13th. So that's why I think it was called Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, etc. But anyways, so yeah, eventually me and Dave, when it came out, we went to the theater and saw this, not knowing what we're going to get. But when we left the theater, we were just thinking that has got to be the most fun experience I have had in a long time. This was so much fun. The concept was goofy, silly, but the film doesn't take itself seriously, and I think that's what helps it. A lot of people, again, much like Jason Goes to Hell, a lot of people will bash his film. And again, and the reason why, because he's in space. He's not Jason and in the woods. And as we talked about in the last video, as Adam Marcus said, you have 8 movies prior to that you can go back and reminisce on those. By movie 10, you got to come up with new ideas. You got to think of something different, outside the box, as it were, outside the planet, even. And I know a lot of times, when characters go to space, it's a death knell. But sometimes, if you have fun with it, it may not be so bad. And this was one of those cases where it wasn't that bad. And I think the concept, too, I heard, from Sean Cunningham, was they pushed it so far in the future so that it wouldn't interfere with Freddy versus Jason, as they were still trying to, figure that whole thing out. But they still want to put a movie out, something to kind of keep, Jason fresh. And, how you do, I guess, you throw him in space or whatever, and you get this. And I think what helps it out is that, again, it doesn't take itself seriously. It's letting you in on the joke. We're at part 10 of this series. The tropes are all there. We're poking fun at ourselves, but not in a Scream way where it's almost like, well, I like Scream. It's, self-referential treatment, of the slasher genre is interesting, but I also think it's kind of like, insulting you. It's as a horror fan in a lot of ways, and the genre itself in a weird way. It's poking fun of itself, but it's also insulting you. So it's almost like it's smarter. It's trying to be smarter than you, as opposed to letting you in on the joke and enjoying it. well, I don't think Jason X is doing that. I really think it's laughing with you. It's saying, "Hey, come and enjoy this with us. Yeah, we know this is kind of silly, but let's have some fun with it. Let's do something different. Let's play with these tropes." Case in point, one of the biggest ones in here is the whole when Jason uh, is resurrected from his cryo freeze, and what brings him to life? Well, sex, of course. All kinds of weird kinky space sex. Brings Jason to life, and that's great. I mean, and the audience is waiting for it. I mean, with theater, seeing this in the theater, much like Jason Goes to Hell. I didn't talk about that video, but the theaters were crazy for both of these movies. I remember people were cheering. And for Jason Goes to Hell, when Jason made his appearance at the end, when certain characters were killed. I mean, they cheered for this one. They were laughing. They were cheering on Jason. There's, I mean, the frozen face crushing kill, huge applause. When they did the hologram holodeck, what do you want to call it? We're calling it Star Trek of Crystal Lake 1980. I mean, the audience just applauded. It was like, all right, it's classic Friday. I mean, it was a great atmosphere. This was a fun movie. And again, it's stuff like this is why you want to see movies in a theater with a group and not on your phone, which is the worst way to watch a movie. Or, just sitting at the TV and by yourself. I mean, the theater is a communal experience. You got to see it with a group of people to really enjoy it. And this was one of those cases, and it was so much fun. Yeah, I said, if you get past the idea of Jason in space, that's kind of wonky and weird. But forget about that. I said, we're at movie 10. Let's have fun with this, and let's see where we go. And I think it takes you on a good ride. It's not. The pace is quick. It's good. The characters are fun. There's some good, comic bits in here. Kane Hodder's in his last performance as Jason is good. Although, admittedly, much like Jason Goes to Hell, I'm not the biggest fan of the look of Jason in this. And I'll get a lot of guff because a lot of people like Jason X. If there was one thing people like about Jason X, it's Uber Jason. Not a fan of Uber Jason. I like the concept, I guess. I don't like the look. The look just doesn't do it for me. And I don't know what it is about it. I just don't care for it. I'm not a big fan of his look prior to Uber Jason. Something about that, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's not horrible, but it goes along line with something I had a problem with Jason Goes to Hell, which is all the little tufts of hair. And I know, young Jason Part 2 was a hippie. But I don't know. I think it's a stringy look. Doesn't work. I think they use that in the remake also. I'm not a fan of that kind of string. In Jason X, he's got this really like short, cropped hair, it looks almost like it's singed, honestly. But I just don't care for it. But again, that's nitpicky. The performance is great. Kane's doing Kane things as Jason, and that's always fun. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to see in the theater. And every time we watch it, it's fun. So I mentioned in the last video, Chris and I just saw this a couple weeks ago at the drive-in. And, that was probably the first time I'd seen it in about as long as the time I'd seen Jason Goes to Hell. And my God, it just reminded me how much fun this movie is. And it's a perfect drive-in movie, too. This is a movie that's made for the drive-in. So rewatching it just a few minutes ago on this, new 4K, it just brings it home even more that this was just a good, fun movie. And people who hate on Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, I think a lot of those people who are just stuck on that's not my Jason. That's not, he's not in the woods. He's not, chopping up people in the woods. He's nowhere. He's not even in this movie, or he's in space. And that's very closed-minded, if you will. And people also say you should put so much thought into slasher films. True. But it's, again, by movies 9 and 10, you got to do something different. Keep it a little fresh. You can't be the same formula over and over again. And I think that Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X really do that, which it makes a good demarcation point between the Paramount 8, which again, I said before, are near and dear to me. I love those. It's a classic. And then you have like the New Line franchise, New Line / Warner Brothers now. And the fact that they changed from Friday 13th to Jason and whatever, it's a good stepping off point. If you're not interested, and you can stop, you can stick with old school, or you can join the ride and have fun with it. You don't have to hate on it. But if you do, you do. It's okay. Our art's subjective, whatever the case. I'm not here to tell you what to like, what not to like. I can only tell you that I enjoyed it. I think it's great. I think that Jason X deserves more credit and appreciation than what it gets. Same thing with Jason Goes to Hell. These are fun movies, and Arrow has done a great job of putting these out and making spectacular presentations for them. So I just finished watching Jason X in the 4K from Arrow, and this is beautiful. Now, take a look at this. Here's a cover. Again, I love this theme, this art. Here's your pre-Uber Jason. Yeah, Uber Jason. I'm assuming that's the little nanites or nanobots, whatever technology they have. Put them together. You just got all your features, which I'll talk about in just a second. Here's the reverse artwork. And this is only a single disc. You just have the 4K. And of course, you've got all your typical stuff. Well, here's the flyer for Demolition Man, which is a great 4K also. Which I should speak about. People talk about, too, that they're upset, or not to say upset, but disappointed that these films didn't get the chunky box treatment from Arrow, which I can understand. Sure, are they deserving of? Absolutely. You think I'm kind of surprised it didn't either, but who knows what goes into that cost wise, whatever. But nonetheless, what they've done is great. And honestly, about what more would you get with the chunky box? It would be a bigger box, maybe a little bit bigger book. You're still going to get the poster and whatnot. But I think this is nice. Nice what they've done. Book wise, you want a big book, go get Crystal Lake Memories or Making It Friday the 13th. Either one of those books. There's not really much more they can put in, I think, to more in a hardbound book for these. But they do have these nice little booklets included with this. So, and I have not had a chance to check this out. This is the Grendel log, Earth 2, year 2455. And I'm definitely looking forward to reading this as soon as I get some time. KM. Some great pictures in here, though, I gotta admit. This is really looking good. To Mutilation and Beyond, and a couple other essays, and so on and so forth, as you typically do. So, also included is the poster with the original poster art with, is that Lexa Doig? We play Rowan. And then the new artwork, which I said I plan to get frames for all three of these Arrow releases and hang, because I really like these. And I'm going to put these up on the wall. These are nice. And typically I wouldn't do that. Just let the posters kind of sitting here as part of the whole aesthetic of the release. But I really like these, and I really want to hang them up and put them on my Friday 13th walls. So, movie wise. Or picture. Jason X to me has always kind of had a, I don't want to say a soft focus, but almost like a very, basically soft focus, yeah. Kind of soft, fuzzy look to it. And the 4K I felt really enhanced that, but smoothed it out, but still kept it where it was a nice, fuzzy, almost ethereal look to it, in my opinion. This is a darker film all the way across. Being in space, there's a lot more darker set pieces, in the spaceships, lighting, more so than in Jason Goes to Hell. So I think it makes it a little more muted, but when there's bright light, the colors do pop out. And this, I believe, is I want to say it has it has Dolby Vision, but it's also HDR10 compatible, which I have HDR10, and it looked really good. So I was really impressed. I think Jason Goes to Hell maybe a little more, may look a little nicer, if you will. If nothing, this looks bad. This is really good. Again, I think it's the color palette and tone that is different from Jason Goes to Hell to Jason X, which keeps us a little more muted and just not quite as popping out as much in certain things. And also, it's darker as opposed to Jason Goes to Hell. Sound wise, I did listen to on the 5.1 surround, and this is from what I actually got to listen to this up to full my normal volume, and I felt it was a more balanced soundtrack. The music wasn't as overblaring with the dialogue. The effects were great. I mean, the surround effects are good. It is a really good 5.1 mix. So, and again, for Jason Goes to Hell, I really need to check it out and listen to it at my full hearing volume to get a full thoughts on that. But this one I did listen to the full volume, and it sounded smooth, great. A really good 5.1 mix. So I was highly impressed. As far as special features on here, here's where this may be a down, kind of the downside of it. There's only one new special feature, and that is, what is it? Well, I mean, is it? Well, you have a new audio commentary also, so take it back. You have more than one, but let's look at it. I'm just rambling here. See, you have the introduction by Kane Hodder, which is pulled over from the Scream Factory editions. A brand new audio commentary with film historians Michael Felsher and Steve Uncle Creepy Barton, which is similar to Jason Goes to Hell. You have archival audio commentaries with Todd Farmer and Arthur Peter Bracke. Archival audio commentary with director Jim Isaac, Todd Farmer, and producer Noel Cunningham. Scoring the Stars is a brand new interview with composer Harry Manfredini. That's really the only new feature on here, which is a nice little interview with Harry Manfredini talking about how much he really loved this film and loved scoring it, and all the things he was able to do differently and helped him kind of stretch out musically for the Friday the 13th series. Everything else on here is ported over from the Scream Factory release of Jason X and the box set. So you have Out of Space, the making of Jason X, an archival documentary on the making of the film, featuring interviews with producers Noel Cunningham and Sean S. Cunningham, actor Kane Hodder, and writer Todd Farmer. In Space, No One Can Hear You Scream, an archival interview with writer Todd Farmer. Christy is a Headbanger, an archival interview with actor Christy Angus. Jason Rebooted, Sean S. Cunningham on Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. The Many Lives of Jason Voorhees, an archival documentary on the history of the character. By Any Means Necessary, the making of Jason X, archival making of documentary. Cast crew interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, electronic press kit, theatrical trailers and TV spots, stills, behind-the-scenes and poster graphics, and, artwork and so on and so forth. But all that stuff comes over from the Scream Factory edition. So the question is, if you've got that, do you want to get this? And that's a matter of preference, obviously. You're only getting the two new features, the new audio commentary and the Harry Manfredini interview, but you're getting a 4K picture, and it looks, like I said, it looks really good. It's a great presentation. Whether you want to, if that's enough for you, is up to you. Me, I love Friday the 13th. And while I haven't always bought, every Friday the 13th release, I stuck with, I had the VHS tapes and a couple, the original DVDs, the special, or I bought the Crystal Lake Memories box, the first box that they put out, then those special edition DVDs, and that was all I had. I didn't get the Blu-ray versions of those because that's done. I didn't get the first complete series, but I did buy the Scream Factory. So that's the last I'm going to get. I have everything I don't need anymore. And then Arrow started releasing these, and again, I wasn't sure if I was going to or not, but especially for the remake, I said it was a whole new scan presentation as opposed to what was in the Scream Factory box. But with Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell, really, I had no choice. I really enjoyed those films. I myself picked them up. You got a few few things where Jason Goes to Hell. This one is um, limited in the new special features, but again, it's a great presentation. It looks good. And at this point, with Arrow releasing these, I'm a completist. I've got 3 of them, all 3 of them. I'm assuming, again, and hoping Freddy versus Jason shows up later on this year. We'll wait and see. So again, whether you want to pick this up is strictly up to you. If you're a big Jason X fan, Friday 30 fan, odds are you're going to pick it up, and you won't be disappointed because this is a great release. Picture quality is fantastic. Sound is great. It's just overall, it's just a great release from Arrow, and I'm so glad that they decided to put Jason X on 4K and give it the excellent treatment it deserves, honestly. So that is it for this one. If you enjoyed this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Jason X. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you even care? What are your memories of it? Like I said, I really enjoyed it a lot. I went in cautious, but came out thinking it was the most fun movie experience I've had in a long time. And it's still fun every time I watch it. So, or just say hi. I'll always say hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.